What's up guys, Dustin here, ATEM Off-Road. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel. Hope everyone's having a good day. Today I want to show you my brand new custom built Overland Off-Road roof rack for this Jeep Wrangler TJ. We're going to check that out now, so stay tuned. Woo! So as you can see, the rack is pretty solid. It's made from 1-inch square tubing, and all the gussets and the plating and the mounts are made with 3-inch mild steel flat stock, 3/16 thickness. So it came out pretty solid. There's a few things I want to talk about during my thought process on this build of this rack, and kind of share with you with some ideas that I got and how I want it to mount to the Jeep. So let's turn you around and get you looking at some of these racks, and I'll just kind of talk about the thought process here. Okay, so there was a couple roof racks I had in mind that I wanted to actually buy. I wanted to buy this roof rack. It's the Barricade or SRC roof rack by Smittybilt. I really like this rack until I started looking at it, and I thought, man, this thing is super bulky. It's big. With the tubing, it sticks out really far. You can see the gaps between the soft top and the tubing here, and it just really looked really bulky. So in my design, I kind of wanted to make something a little bit more profiled that kind of shapes to the Jeep. And I didn't really like the round tubing. I wanted to use some kind of square tubing that would go kind of more with the squarish look of my bumpers and things like that. The SRC, it was definitely within the budget of the build, but I just did not want to go with this rack. Too bulky for me. So then I started looking at other racks, and this one came right up to me, and I really liked how this rack looked, especially with all the gear and things you could do with it. It was square tubing. Then I started looking really close up to the rack, and I really liked how it kind of shaped the soft top, and it wasn't very bulky. It went up the window frame here and attached right here, and I noticed that it attached a little bit different than the SRC rack. This one doesn't come down to the lower door hinge on the body of the tub. It just bolts here. I really didn't like this area here where it looks like you have to do some drilling in the body of the vehicle or the tub, and I really didn't want to drill anything. And then I started looking more and more, and it just didn't seem like a rack that I would want to put an RTT, and I definitely wanted to put some kind of RTT or tent here. So this was the rack I was really looking at buying. I really fell in love with this rack. I love it, square tubing, and the price. As you can see right here, almost $1,400, and that's not even shipping. One other reason why I really wanted to build my own rack is because of the problem and the issue with the rear view mirror. So as you know, the Jeeps have these soft doors. They come off of the Jeep really quick, as you can see, and they go back on really quick. But when you remove these doors, there's not a solution for rear view mirrors. So looking at the two racks, I already had to modify those racks going into the design because there wasn't a solution for rear view mirrors with these soft doors. So guys, as you can see, both of those racks didn't really fit the design I wanted to put on this Jeep Wrangler TJ, and that Expedition Garvin rack is just way out of price. So this is kind of how I came up with my ideas to build this rack. It's kind of like a hybrid between the Smittybilt and the Garvin Expedition racks, and this is what I came up with. So let's do a full walk around of the rack, and I'll kind of just show you around, and I'll just kind of talk about the thought process here. So guys, let's just talk a little bit about the rack design and some of the mounting solutions. As you can see, I had to make some bends in this square tubing, and then I also welded in a gusset, so you have good surface area to the mount. The mount is actually made of 3/16 stock, and over here I put 2 stainless steel 5/16 bolts, and that bolts the rack to the tub of the body. I didn't want to do any drilling or any modifications to the body of the tub, so this all worked out really good. As you can see, another gusset here, and then my tabs for my rear view mirror. And as you can see over here, another gusset, and I'll show you on the top what it looks like. and then another gusset here. Basically on all the bends on the sides, another spined gusset over here, and then here, as you can see, I didn't want, again, like I was saying earlier in the video, I didn't want to drill in the body of the tub. So it just made sense to go straight down, kind of like the SRC rack, and then bolt it like the SRC rack. And this is super solid, guys. This, I'm not going to have any issues with this. And as you can see, there's a gap so it doesn't hit the tub. But this is going to be a super solid solution for mounting the rack on the back end next to the rear bumper. As you can see, we're right here by the pillar for the front windshield. I used that plating that I had mentioned earlier in the video, and then I welded my tubing to this plating. Before I made the bends, I made some cuts and I folded the material. So this side of the rack actually meets along and follows the pillar pretty smoothly. It's got a pretty tight clearance between the window and the rack itself. And then I put a gusset in here so it's really solid and attached to the plate, which attaches to the tub of the Jeep. So then I have these little tabs right here for the rear view mirrors, and I put a spring in here, kind of like your rugged ridge mounts for your rear view mirrors. And then if you follow the lines of the rack, they kind of follow the same lines as the SRC Smitty built rack, but it's a little bit more profiled, and it has, instead of 3 crossbars, it has 4 crossbars. And you can see the line comes up here. Get a view of this. You can see the lines up here, and you can see how it follows the windshield, and then the gusseting here for strength. And the tubing does kind of bend. It has a bow in it just a little bit. It's noticeable with the eye from a distance, but it's not really an integral issue. It's super solid. I've added another gusset here, and I added another gusset here, more like a spine for the rack. And then this side of the rack bolts to the rear bumper. So I've actually folded the material to a 90 here and then bolted to another 2 plates. So there's actually 2 plates here. So this side of the rack bolts to this mount, and then I made this mount separate. So right here, you're gonna have those 2 holes, and it's going to slip over those 2 bolts like so. And then that other plate is going to bolt to these with these 2 holes, and then we'll weld the square tubing to the plate that bolts to this mount. But that's pretty much all it is, guys. Pretty simple. So this is what the mount's gonna look like right here. And that mount bolts to the bumper, and the rack bolts to that mount. So let me give you a close-up of the other side. And I'm just using 5/16 grade 8 bolts. So if you do have a stock bumper, the factory bumpers came with some end caps. You have to remove those. I paid 13 bucks for 2 of these flat end caps. I think they look pretty good right now, and until we replace or build a bumper for this Jeep, I figured I'll just use these just temporary, and now those look pretty good. But that's part of the rack, and then the rack has a flat bar in the back, which I could also mount stuff to. I was thinking about putting a high jack, or maybe a propane tank here along the rack, or even making an additional ladder for the side. But that's still in the works. And here's the other side that we're mounting to over here. It's just basically rear imaged, and then I'll show you the mount as well. You have to remove those 2 nuts right there and then bolt up the mount. All the way up the window frame, just like that. So guys, as you can see, it took a lot of effort in planning and building this roof rack. and I hope you guys can take away some things out of this build. If you like camping, trails, off-roading, overlanding, cooking on the trail, stay tuned because we're going to have a lot more of that content coming soon on this channel. And also you can see I have the RTT already bolted up to this rack. I'm so excited to get that open up and camping. So we're gonna have some videos doing in the future on that. Check out some other videos that may be helpful to you. Consider subscribing, helps out the channel. And check out my Instagram. You can find me on Instagram. There's a lot of sneak peeks on this build, more in depth of the welding process and the build process altogether. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button, and also hit the like button. It tells YouTube that this is a good video and it reaches out to more people. Have a good day guys, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a good day. Peace out.